So anime 3x3s, they've become a trend in the community recently, and I thought, why don't I make one and share it with you guys? I've already made a list of my 10 favorite anime, but a 3x3 is more than just a list of your favorite anime. It is a list of anime that have impacted you the most, even if they aren't necessarily your favorite. And with that, here's my 3x3. Now, I know this thing is looking kind of cringe, but give me a second to justify myself. As I already mentioned, this is not a list of my favorite anime. This is a list of anime that I feel like have impacted me the most in certain ways. So, to start off with, Sword Art Online. Sword Art Online is an anime that I grew up watching. I was about 12 years old when I first saw Sword Art Online. It was the anime that I claim that really got me into anime. Now, don't get me wrong, I had already seen different anime before Sword Art Online, but I wasn't really an anime fan before Sword Art Online. That was the one that really got me into it. I loved Sword Art Online when I was a kid. I absolutely loved the anime. Do I like it now? I do still like it now. Do I think it's the best anime ever made? No. I just think it's entertaining, as I mentioned in my video a few weeks back. It's just an entertaining show. I like it. That's all there is to it. Now then, let's get to the other guys on here, because there are some other cringe guys, but I want to explain these. So Naruto. Naruto is the anime I claim to be like the first anime I watched. I don't think it is. I think Pokemon's actually the first anime I ever watched, but Naruto's the one I claim to be like the first anime I watched ever, and it's just one I grew up with. I mean, it's just the show I grew up with. I was literally watching it ever since I was like a little kid, as young as I can remember, so it's always been there. So Naruto's great. Love Naruto. Alright, let's do Pokemon next. I specifically put Diamond and Pearl for Pokemon on here because I was like, what series do I want? I grew up with the Diamond and Pearl Pokemon anime, specifically. I mean, I've watched every single episode of the Pokemon anime multiple times, or Ash's Journey Pokemon anime. I haven't seen the new stuff. But, yeah. I've seen all that stuff multiple times, and Diamond and Pearl is just always, to me, the one that hits the best. I think it's just because that's what I grew up with. I just grew up with it. I remember that series fondly. I feel like Ash was at his best there, except for X and Y. And, you know, it's just a great series. The protagonists were all good. You know, I liked Dawn. Brock was great. Krogunk was funny. Paul was a great rival. You know, Ash had a great team. It was the first and only time he used every single Pokemon he had caught throughout all of his journeys, and I thought that was awesome. And, you know, it was just an overall great series. I really enjoyed it. So Pokemon Diamond and Pearl specifically, but really you can put all the Pokemon here. But yeah, Pokemon Diamond and Pearl specifically is definitely in that spot, because it's just clean. Okay. So let's get to the second cringe one, or what people are probably going to call cringe. Fairy Tail. I don't care what nobody says, I love Fairy Tail, and I think it's a great series. But let me justify myself. The reason why Fairy Tail is on here is because I started watching Fairy Tail when I was at my absolute lowest point in life. I needed a show that was just about friendship and coming together and all that kind of stuff. And you know what? That is exactly what Fairy Tail is. And that is what a lot of the criticism is about the show. And you know what? That's what I absolutely love about the show. That friendship and that camaraderie that all the Fairy Tail members have, it makes you feel like you're a part of the guild when you're watching the show, and that is exactly what I needed at the time that I watched it, and I will forever love this anime, regardless of if others do or not. It is just something that hits absolutely different for me, and yeah, if you don't like it, totally fine, you don't have to. It's just one of my personal favorites, and I will forever love this anime, and yeah, that's just it from me. Toradora. Now, a lot of people in recent years have kind of started hating on Toradora a little bit. The reason why I have Toradora on here is because it was the first romance anime I ever watched. Before Toradora, it was shonen, isekai, shitty fantasies, and that was it. There was nothing else I was watching. It was nothing but those anime. Some friends convinced me to watch Toradora because they had recently watched it, and I was like, yeah, I just like the soundtrack, so I'll give it a go. I watched it, absolutely loved the anime, and from there, I mean, it was over. I basically only watch romances now. But yeah, Toradora was the start of that journey for me, and yeah, so it'll always have a special place in my heart for that reason. It may not be my favorite romance anymore, but it will always hold that special place in my heart, and so it had to be on there because Toradora was a massive step in my anime journey, so it has to be on here. One Piece. I watched One Piece in 2020, and it basically took over my life. And I'm sure it does for most people, but like, even when it comes to just the content I consume, like outside of like making videos or outside of, you know, the anime I watch, like the content I consume on YouTube and TikTok and other stuff like that mostly consists of exclusively One Piece content. Like, especially when it comes to like the anime stuff, like it's basically just One Piece. Like even now, like it's been 4 years since I watched One Piece, and it's basically all One Piece. Like it's like when it comes to the anime community stuff, I pretty much exclusively watch One Piece content. And yeah, it basically is what defines my 20s when it comes to anime. Like that's the anime for me. It is just absolutely the gold standard of shonen in my opinion, and it'll always be probably my favorite shonen. It is just that good. It is genuinely one of the greatest manga I have ever read and one of the best anime I've ever watched. And sure, the manga's got its issues, or not the manga, sorry, the anime's got its issues, but it's still genuinely just such an amazing show. Alright, so I'm gonna dodge the middle. We're gonna go down the Monogatari series. The reason why I have the Monogatari series on here is because I feel like the Monogatari series was just a time in my life where I was like, I want to explore the weird and the wacky side of anime. And I feel like the Monogatari series was the first show in that kind of genre that I watched. To this day, I still don't understand like anything about the Monogatari series. I just know that it's fucking goated. But yeah, it was like kind of that start of the journey of kind of like, I want to explore everything the anime community has to offer. I want to explore everything anime has to offer. What does anime have to offer? What is it besides romance, shonen, isekai, fantasy? What else do they have? And I think this was kind of like that first kind of step into that. And so it was always kind of just like there. It's genuinely an amazing show though. Like, even if you haven't seen it, highly, highly recommend. It's genuinely really good. Violet Evergarden. What more needs to be said besides it is the most beautiful anime I have ever watched. Period. Bar none. It is by far the most beautiful and gorgeous anime I have ever watched, and I think I ever will watch. Kyoto Animation blew it out of the park, and it's not even just Kyoto Animation. The story, the characters, everything about this anime is just so beautiful. It brings the whole show together. I remember when the movie dropped after years, because I hadn't watched Violet Evergarden in a couple years before the movie dropped, and I remember the moment I played that movie, the moment I heard that OST in the first opening scene, instant tears. I was crying the entire length of that fucking movie, dude. I swear to God. That movie has impacted me in a way that's just like genuinely, I don't know like how to really describe it. Violet Evergarden has just changed my perspective on animation and anime in general. And yeah, it'll forever hold a special place in my heart for sure. It is just so good. Alright. Let's get to that last show on here, the one in the middle. Clannad. Clannad and Clannad After Story. And I do combine both seasons. Most people separate them because they think After Story is better, which it is, but I'm combining both seasons into this because I like to show shows as a whole. I'm excluding Pokemon in that because Pokemon's a little bit different, but Clannad and Clannad After Story. My favorite anime of all time for very good reasons. This anime fucked me up, and I watched it at probably the worst time I should have watched it. But this anime is so fucking good. If you want to cry, if you want to have like a tear-jerking moment, this is the anime. This anime is all about friendship. It's all about family, the closeness of family, coming together. There's just so many different good themes here that are just like, they just hit so hard. Loss, desperation, you know, there's so many good themes. Tragedy. It's like, and you know what? It also had one of the first characters that I genuinely related to a lot. Because, like, there's not a lot of characters that are so well written in certain aspects of their character that just, like, feel relatable. Like, Nagisa Furukawa for me is genuinely a character that I relate to a lot, specifically for her sickness. I didn't have a sickness similar to hers, and I'm obviously not dead, but it's just the fact of like, you're missing school all the time, you're worried about your friends are moving on ahead of you, and all this other stuff. It's like that stuff hits very close home to me. And when I watched this anime, I was behind a year behind everybody else that I grew up alongside, and she was behind a year in the show. And so it's like, oh, well, now it's relatable, because now it's like I just missed a whole year of school because I had to do all this other stuff, and now I'm behind a year behind all the other kids that I grew up alongside. And it's harder to make friends in the new class and all this other stuff. It's like this anime just hit right at the right time it needed to, and for that, it'll always have a special place. It was there it's literally my life journey, basically. Like, it was there. It impacted me in a way where it affected me for life. It changed my perspective on life in general, and I think it will always just be my favorite anime. There are some anime that have come close to passing it, especially in recent time with a few of the GOATs from last year, but Clannad will always be my favorite, I'm pretty sure. Like, genuinely, it impacted just my life journey in general. Alright, so that is my 3x3, guys. I know some of that stuff is cringe, and you can look at it and be like, oh my god, Blocky's got the worst freaking cringy takes on an anime ever, but like, as I said, this isn't really my favorite anime. Some of them are my favorite anime, but this isn't necessarily a list of my favorite anime. It's a list of anime that impacted me a lot and the most, and I would like to see, what you guys have to say about both mine, and maybe you guys can make a list down in the comments, or you can make your own 3x3 and send it to me. I have a Discord server, which is a link down in the description if you want to go ahead and join that, and you can send me 3x3s there, or you can just write a list down in the comments if you want to go ahead and do that with your anime that you feel like would be on your 3x3, and I can go over them. Anyway, guys, I'll be back next week with another video. See ya.